From being a crucial building block of steel to nourishing plants and helping carry oxygen in your blood, iron is always busy helping sustain life on Earth. Iron is the fourth most common element in Earth's crust by weight, and much of Earth's core is thought to be composed of iron. Besides being commonly found on Earth, it is abundant in the sun and stars.
Hello again, I'm Samson Sees. In this program, iron and the many forms it comes in is the star of the show. We will venture through the iron ore mining industry and its exciting developments. Also, we will uncover elements that propel the iron ore market in Iran, as well as its related industries. And we will check in on the global iron ore markets. So stay tuned with Bazaar. Iran is an impressively determined country with an iron will to make a brighter future. As part of the 20-year vision plan, Iran aims to become the world's 7th largest steel maker. In recent years, Iran has focused on strengthening its highly profitable steel productions up to 55 million tons in the next 7 years. This requires 165 million tons of iron ore and raw materials. Iran currently has the capacity to produce 30 million tons of steel. Of this amount, approximately 11.5 million tons of this capacity is vacant. Just about 18.5 million tons of steel are produced annually. These plans have broadened the domestic iron ore market, providing numerous opportunities.
In order to better understand how companies have aligned themselves with these expansion plans, we have decided to visit Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company. We wanted to see how companies have been dealing with the predicted growth of this market. Located in the beautiful region of south-central Iran, 60 kilometers from Sirjan, Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company is nestled in the spectacular mountainous landscape of southwest Kerman province. Its mining zone is situated 250 kilometers from the major city of Kerman. Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company is one of the largest iron ore concentrate and pellet producing companies in Iran. It operates mines containing 6 ore bodies spread over an area of 40 square kilometers. These mines have massive iron reserves. The total deposits of iron ore in the region are estimated to be over 1.2 billion tons. Its reserves are ranked as 10th in the world, as stated by the United States Geological Survey. The major ore body of Golgohar has a deposit of more than 650 million tons, according to statistics published by this company. The mines are connected to the Trans-Iranian Railroad through the Tehran-Bandar Abbas line.
معدن گلوگوهر یک معدن سنگ آهن هستش که در زنجیره فولاد کشور تامین کننده مواد اولیه صنایع فولادی، فولاد مبارکه و فولاد خوزستان هستش. این معدن در منطقه گلوگوهر از 6 معدن مختلف تشکیل شده که 1.2 میلیارد تن ذخیره معادن سنگ آهن گلوگوهره که 40% از ذخایر سنگ آهن ایران رو تشکیل میده.
It has 12 iron concentrate lines with a production capacity of well over 14 million tons. It has 2 pelletizing plants with a production capacity of 10 million tons, 2 direct reduction iron plants with a combined production capacity of 3.4 million tons, and a hematite and desulfurization plant with a capacity of producing 1 million tons. The type of iron in this company comes in the form of magnetite ore containing 65% iron. This company gets 100% of its consumable material from inside Iran.
معدن شماره 1 که الان پشت تصویر مشخص هستش سالانه 12 میلیون تن سنگ آهن تولید داره و چیزی در حدود 30 میلیون تن باطله و این سنگ آهن از معادن دیگه جمع میشه در کارخانه‌های فراوری اینجا که وظیفه خوردایش، تقلیز، جدایش مغناطیسی و تهیه کنسانتره سنگ آهن رو به عهده دارن. ظرفیت پارسال ما با خوراکدهی از بقیه معادن تولید 12 میلیون تن کنسانتره بوده که 30% ما افزایش تولید داشتیم به نسبت سال قبل و بعد از اون مرحله گندله سازی هست که خوراک مورد نیاز واحدهای احیا و فولاد هستش که با ظرفیت 5.3 میلیون تن پارسال تونستیم کار بکنیم.
Iran's total capacity of iron ore production is 80 million tons annually. Additionally, the production of iron concentrate has increased to 45 million tons and pellets to 36 million tons in the last 5 years. A total of 9.5 million tons of direct reduced iron were produced in Iran during the first 4 months of the current Iranian year, indicating a 10% rise compared with last year. Iran is the second biggest producer of DRI in the world. DRI is sponge iron, an alternative steel-making ingredient. Nationally, it produced 14.2 million tons during the first half of 2019. This registered an amazing 15.2% growth.
Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company is the leading iron ore concentrate and pellet producer in Iran in the current fiscal year. It has bitten a large chunk of this market with an annual production output of 6.7 million tons of iron ore concentrate. Also, this company has produced 5 million tons of direct reduction iron this year. Its new plant produces enough for the production of 2.5 million tons of steel. Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company recently opened its second pelletizing plant, bringing its total pellet production to 10 million tons per year.
معمولاً در معادن سنگ‌آهن تولید محصولات مراحل بعدی برای سنگ‌آهن محروم به صرف است و ما در این معدن در هیچ زمانی خامفروشی نداشتیم. در مرحله کنسانتره تولید کنسانتره تا زمانی که گندله نبود ما صادرات کنسانتره داشتیم. الان هم تولید گندله است که بیشتر محصول گندلمون در اختیار فولادسازی‌های داخل قرار میگیره و اضافه محصول کنسانترمون رو ما به بازارهای جهانی صادر میکنیم.
Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company has established itself as a significant economic axis in the region. It has a strong vision for its future. Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company covers 31% of domestic iron ore market demand, but the ambitions of this company don't stop there.
I was surprised to discover that Iran's total production of iron ore concentrate has been 19.7 million tons in the first 5 months of 2019. A total of 17 million tons of iron ore were exported from Iran in the last fiscal year. In the global market, the price of 1 metric ton of iron ore is estimated at $83 according to Market Index. In comparison, the price of 1 metric ton of steel is $539. Large quantities of exports has led to fears of a deficit in the domestic iron ore market, deficits that will affect steel production. Consequently, in order to curb exports, the government has implemented a 25% tariff on exports of raw material and iron ore. Exports of iron ore have decreased from 23 million tons to 7.7 million tons since 2018, according to the Iron Ore Association of Iran.
With the reduction of exports, raw materials and iron ore used to make steel will supply domestic demand. This has resulted in companies turning their gaze towards the domestic market rather than the international market. By increasing domestic supply above average to meet steel makers' production goals, these companies can also export any surplus of their products. Golgohar has planned many potential features for growth. It plans on expansion through carefully calculated development projects. With the implementation of Golgohar development projects and production line optimization projects, annual production of this company is predicted to exceed 30 million tons. One of these development projects is to develop a steel value chain. Golgohar has developed its share in the production of steel products such as sponge iron. By increasing its production of sponge iron, it intends to complete its steel value chain. Golgohar will be the first zone in Iran having all the processes of production from iron ore mines to various steel products all together in one zone.
به طور عام اگر هزینه تولید یک تن کنسانتره رو شما در نظر بگیرید X ریال یا دلار، معمولاً هزینه حمل اون دقیقاً به همین میزان هست. یعنی هر چقدر شما هزینه اکتشاف، استخراج، تخلیص و تولید محصول کردید، به همون میزان برای همون توناژ هزینه حمل معمولا داده میشه. در شرکت سنگ‌آهن گل‌وگهر به دلیل نزدیکی به منابع معدنی هزینه‌های حمل تا مرحله تولید محصول به حداقل خودش رسیده و جالبه که بدونید نزدیکترین بندر که بزرگترین بندر کشور ایرانه بندر عباس به اینجا 300 کیلومتر فقط هست و هزینه حمل ما هم پایین بوده و در نهایت هزینه قیمت تمام شدمون مناسب هستش.
After commissioning the prospective projects, the company's annual processed iron ore products such as concentrate and pellet output capacity will be much higher than last year. Its projected production increase is concentrate to 24 million tons, pellet to 21 million tons, and sponge iron to 5 million tons by 2020. Golgohar plans to attract local and foreign investors and develop targeted markets.
شرکت سنگ‌آهن گل‌وگهر در حال حاضر 17,000 میلیارد تومان طرح‌های توسعه در دست اقدام داره. این شرکت تمایل داره که زنجیره تولید رو تا صنایع پایین دستی فولاد ادامه بده و آمادگی پذیرش هر گونه سرمایه خارجی با بهره تضمین شده رو داره. این طرح‌ها از مرحله تولید کنسانتره، تولید گندله، احیای مستقیم، فولاد و صنایع پایین دستی فولاد و همچنین خدمات جانبی و یوتیلیتی اهم از نیروگاه، تأمین آب و سایر منابع هست.
In this edition of the subcontinent, we shall look into the withdrawal of US forces in Afghanistan and its consequences. And we will explore all eventualities for this doomed, damned, and forgotten war.
You probably already know that more than 20 out of the top 100 Iranian companies come from metals and mining and the broader IG space. Moreover, metals and mining accounts for 21% of overall market capitalization on the Tehran Stock Exchange due to positive trends in this sector.
Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company is a public shareholder, and its shares were offered in the Iranian Stock Exchange beginning in 2003. The Central Securities Depository of Iran has listed Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company in the top 20 active companies in the Tehran stock market and Iran Farabours. This ranking is based on positive market capitalization by the end of the first half of the current fiscal year. Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company potentially can sell millions of tons of its products, mostly concentrate, in international markets. The products are instantly being sold out because of excellence in quality. But given the policy of the company not to sell raw material to complete the steel value chain, it has decided to sell only a small amount of its products in international markets. Diversification of products is an important strategy of this company to increase its market share.
The iron ore industry is experiencing huge developments in order to achieve future high production goals. Iron ore mining companies have been improving local infrastructure by creating avenues for transporting their goods. Some of these development projects include railways, roads, and river dams. Companies have been investing in new technologies for production of pellets and direct reduction iron or sponge iron, which is used in steel production. Technologies such as the PERED or PERED. PERED or PERED or Persian reduction technology is made by Iranian Mines and Metals Engineering Company. It is said to be more efficient. It cuts production costs by lowering required investment and operational costs. It is also more eco-friendly.
Today, production of any high-quality product requires its own specialty. Process and process equipment of iron ore processing plants are designed based on quality and purity of the iron ore. Every mine has its own special ore specifications. So how does this company stay on top of its game? Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company must utilize the latest processing technologies to defend its position in the global market. The current process is based on the latest modern technology for open pit mining. However, the reserves of Golgohar open pit deposits will come to an end at some point. Therefore, the method of iron ore extraction must be changed from open pit to underground mining. This will empower the company to exploit all reserves of Golgohar deposits. So the utilized technology must be renewed and modified.
You might find it interesting to know that generally underground mining technology has not been used in Iran yet. The amount of iron ore reserves and the level of extraction of ore in mines are much larger than coal mines. Thus, it needs larger equipment and more advanced machineries, which results in higher level of technologies. So large-scale investment is required in underground iron ore mining.
Most of iron ore producers have set up direct railways from their mines to ports. In order to prevent bottlenecking and to increase sales and exports, the company has purchased 10 locomotives and 300 wagons. Golgohar has implemented the proposed project to establish a large railway transportation company to handle the company's transportation services. By using this railway, it will transport a minimum 10 million tons of the company's products to Bandar Abbas ports. It is interesting to know that the Sirjan-Kerman Railway was also funded by this company.
ببینید زیرساخت‌ها شاید مقداری در واقع نیاز داشتش تقویت بشه. ولی وقتی آدم ارزیابی میکنه مثلا چند سال اخیر رو خب میبینه اتفاقات خوبی افتاده. و چشم‌اندازهایی که برای کشور ترسیم شده این چشم‌اندازها جوابگوی آینده ترابری منطقه هست. به هر حال گلگهر هم ننشسته که این زیرساخت‌ها فراهم بشه بعد توسعه بده. توسعه خودش رو در دل خودش داره تعریف میکنه و توسعه رو در واقع همگام داره پیش میبره، به معنی اینکه در زمانی که ما قرار یه جنس رو تولید بکنیم سعی میشه حمل و نقلش هم روش فکر بشه که زمانی تولید شد دیگه حمل و نقلش، چون بحث حمل نقلی زمان بره. بنابراین دستورهای خوبی مدیر عامل دادن و چیزای خوبی رو پیگیری کردن، من جمله تقویت بحث شرکت‌های ریلی منطقه گلگهر و همچنین تقویت شرکت‌های حمل و نقلی گلگهر و استفاده بیشتر از راه آهن جایگزین جاده.
In parallel to its development projects, Golgohar has clearly demonstrated its strong commitment to the sector's development. It has paid special attention to the company's internal growth in order to sustain its various developments. Golgohar has over 19,000 employees on its roster. Golgohar has focused on a set of initiatives to make sure it achieves its strategic agenda. Some of these initiatives are optimization of the cost management and increasing efficiency and productivity. These measures resulted in a noticeable increase of production.
قاعدتاً کشور ما کشور پردانشیه، یعنی اینکه میگم پردانشه نه به باب اینکه واقعاً یه شعار باشه، چون ما داریم درکش میکنیم. واحدهایی که در واقع درک میکنن این مطلب رو واحدهای مثل ما صنعتی‌های مثل ما هستن. ما خارجی میاد کارخونه نصب میکنه 2 جلسه 3 جلسه 4 جلسه میاد مسائل رو آموزش میده، بلافاصله کارمندای خود شرکت این کار رو دست میگیرن بدون حضور رو ادامه میدن. شما میدونین اون فردی که میاد 3 جلسه میاد شاید 20 سال آموزش دیده تا تونستی به این درجه برسه. ولی من یقین پیدا کردم با مذاکراتی که تا حالا با خارجی‌ها داشتم و چیزایی که در ایرانی‌ها دیدم که راه تجربه و راه دانش 20 ساله اونا رو ما 2 سال طی می‌کنیم. به شرط اینکه بخوایم و اون فرد اراده بکنه. چون ببین خواستن ما ایرانی‌ها و اراده ما ایرانی‌ها به همه جا دست پیدا می‌کنه. چون شما می‌بینید تو بخشایی که در واقع بخشای خصوصی که شرکت‌ها می‌خوان یه کاری رو انجام بدن واقعا موفق.
Investments in Iran's metal and mining sector are very attractive. The metals and mining sector in Iran is highly competitive. It has all the indicators to enable further growth and attract investments. There are several key elements contributing to it. Low energy costs and skilled workers, low salaries, and predominantly young and highly educated workforce. It also has the biggest market in the Middle East with a developed transport and infrastructure network, including overall low production costs per ton. It is estimated that Iran has over 5 billion tons of iron ore in its rich reserves. About 3 billion tons of iron ore have a purity of over 50%. This means that Iran does not require imports of iron ore to supply its steel industry. Prices of iron ore in Iran have increased 13% in order to support developments in the steelmakers industry. As Iran gears up to increase its iron ore production capacity to 165 million tons, more than half of this capacity has already been realized. Yet the viability of boosting it to the targeted figure depends not only on maintaining the export markets, but also on finding new ones. Almost 98% of iron ore is used for the production of steel in Iran. A small fraction of iron produced is used to make components for electronic devices and household items. Iron ore is mined in about 50 countries. World resources of crude iron ore are estimated to exceed 800 billion tons, containing more than 230 billion tons of iron. It is even more interesting that the 7 largest of these producing countries account for about 3/4 of total world production. Australia and Brazil together dominate the world's iron ore exports, each having about 1/3 of total exports, according to the US Geological Survey.
Traditionally and naturally, China has been considered as the most important partner of Iran's iron ore products. Currently, Golgohar Mining and Industrial Group has had a high production rate. This has led to a surplus in the domestic iron ore concentrate market. So the concentrate surplus is being exported to China. Golgohar has planned to find potential markets in Europe as well as neighboring countries for future exports. Earlier this year, it was announced that in the next 4 years, this company will be competing among the top 10 international companies. Its stock can also be offered in the international stock market. Iron ore prices have soared 67% this year, according to the Wall Street Journal. Increased prices of the global market have been due to supply shortage and stagnate supplies. Iron ore is one of the world's most traded commodities and can influence prices for materials used in everything, from cars to skyscrapers. Iran can take advantage of the current conditions in the global market. As a spot supplier, Iran holds 1.5% of the total global market of iron ore exports.
Iran's biggest customer is China. Shipments to China make up about 91% of Iranian iron ore exports. Accounting for nearly 70% of the world's seaborne ore trade, China imported 1 billion tons of iron ore in 2017. Iran wants to diversify its market customers as sanctions have led China to be more cautious in purchasing from Iran. Reuters reported that China has taken fewer shipments of iron ore from Iran over August and September. Additional export tariffs imposed by Tehran have dampened risk appetites in the world's biggest steelmaker.
This company has pursued cooperation in the establishment of drinkable water treatment plant in Sirjan. The water pipeline project will pump desalinated water from the Persian Gulf to central Iran. This water will then be purified for human consumption. A portion of this water will then be used in Golgohar's facilities. President Rouhani, in the inauguration of the most recent facility in Golgohar, stated, "Golgohar Mining and Industrial Company is one of the mineral and industrial hubs in the country, so that it should be honored deservedly. It is hoped that this province will be developed with the transfer of water from the Persian Gulf to this region."
By now, you might have already guessed how much these two industries are intertwined. It's difficult to speak about one industry without bringing up the other. Prices of iron ore are closely related to steel prices. Historically, trade in iron ore was based on long-term contracts, but in recent years there has been a shift towards shorter-term pricing. This is most evident in spot markets such as Iran. Consequently, prices reflect market developments more quickly. Domestic demands of steel makers for iron ore have increased as they gear up for larger internal productions and exports. These developments have had magnificent outcomes for the iron ore mining industry. The progress of these two industries is evident. I, for one, am excited to see just how these goals will be realized and how it will shape for a brighter future. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Stay tuned with us at Bazaar with more topics on Iran's current market. We would love to hear from you. So check us out on social media through our Facebook or Instagram page. Leave us a comment or send us a message. If you would like to know more about this program, or if you are interested in learning about other topics, send us a message or email us. Thanks again for watching Bazaar. Until next time.